in Podcast Detroit, recording live. Prepare yourself for a hoppy drive. If you're chilling at home, pop that growler and just kick back for the next 2 hours. It's the end of the week, so here's to the weekend. It's Better on Draft with Rob, Matt, Nick, and Ken.
And we are live for the Dry January episode number 3 of the Better on Draft podcast. I believe someone has the volume up on their phone, Mr. Eric.
Do I?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Sorry.
That's okay. We are live in studio.
good?
Our final, Dry January episode. Coming to you live Friday night. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/Better on Draft. You can join us. Join us in the chat and, be part of the conversation, be part of the fun each and every Friday night live. Follow us on Instagram, Better on Draft, Twitter, Better on Draft, Untapped is Bod Podcast. And Nick, how you doing?
I'm so glad that this is the last day of Dry January.
You are, I believe, the sole survivor of Dry January.
And you know what? My wife and I were putting the house on the market. It'll be live on Monday. After all the renovation, all the house fixing over the last few weeks, I'm ready to drink. I'm not going to lie.
Well,
Except all my beer is now at my in-laws' house.
Does our Dry January technically end at like midnight tonight for you?
I'm going to take it all the way to midnight. That's the point of January.
Very specific.
Yep. There you go.
Rob, how's it going? Welcome to Dry January.
I thank you.
About, what, 31 days late to the party?
I'm 31 days for sure, without a doubt. After basically spending the last 7 days in jury duty, I had really no choice because there was no way I was getting through that whole thing without not drinking anything. It pretty much was like kombucha. No, fuck this. No. What's 13% in this cellar right now?
I feel like everything.
Everything.
You ain't wrong.
Which
13%?
Yeah, I've definitely did a good part. So all the moving that I did and people coming in, like I brought a nice like chest freezer and all this stuff. So everyone that I had that delivered stuff for me left with a beer.
Oh, really? Like the Amazon drivers?
No, not Amazon drivers, like, professional movers or Gardner White or...
It's not a bad idea when
I left them with a little cash and a little beer.
That was very nice of you.
And one of the guys actually snapped a photo of it, sent it to his girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh, well, thank you, honey," because she's the craft beer drinker of the between the two. It was a 2015 bourbon barrel aged Plead the Fifth.
Oh,
yeah. So and his partner got the 2016 one. So I had to look up what the color of the wax was to figure out which one was which year. Well, welcome. Glad you made it at least for one episode. Wendy, what's up?
How's it going? I'm still strong with damp.
You're still strong with that's
going really well.
Damp January.
Damp January.
Damp January.
Well, none of us are drinking right now, so let's go right into the guest.
I mean, I got something.
I got Pepsi.
You got Pepsi. I did in tribute to Matt Bush, had a Diet Vernors.
Nice. I got some tropical kombucha from Urban Rest.
I do have from Dark Matter Coffee, the brown acid, which this I believe 8-ounce can is 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh, fuck that.
So, and I did bring back the one beer that I did not drink from what was left over from last week, which was Two Roots Mango Dango. But our guest in studio right next to Nick, we have Eric from Reputation.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you.
Now,
I am drinking a PBR.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. What is Reputation? And let's crack something open.
Okay, excellent. Let's get right into some sparkling tea. I'll just pass it around.
Sparkling tea.
Everyone can have one.
I have been, since I quit energy drinks 2 years ago, on like such a kick for tea to look for some good ones. And
well, we can split this. That's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Honest, Honest Tea, I believe is the name of the brand,
Yeah.
has a fully unsweetened black tea that I was drinking on the way here, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And I used to not hate black tea, but I always wanted like a little extra flavor, like a sweet or a citrus or something. Now I can drink this all the time. So
So this is a raspberry. Can I have a little bit off that? I'll leave the rest with you, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a raspberry hibiscus sparkling tea.
Okay. You can smell the tea.
For sure.
Definitely.
It's kind of weird, huh? I mean, you're going from talking about alcohol to
I know. Now we're talking about tea on this show.
talking about fucking tea. Sparkling tea, baby.
No, it's funny that, I got several of my coworkers, they were all saying, so is today the last day for you, Nick? Because they all know I'm doing this whole dry January thing. They're like, yeah. I'm like, so you're drinking tonight? I'm like, no, I got to get through tonight first. Never would have guessed that I'd be drinking tea as the last day of the dry January.
what kind of tea is this?
This is a black tea.
Okay, so caffeine.
Caffeine. Yep.
Got to be smart now that I'm, I used to drink like 3 to 4 Monsters a day, so
Holy
I've definitely changed my body
Bingo
for
square.
caffeine.
You have probably gained, I don't know, a decade on your life. Congratulations.
Well, my job doesn't have consistent hours, so I just used it to help me work through the consistent hours, and
Sure.
then it just turned into pretty much an addiction because I was drinking it. My problem is the apartment I lived in had a bodega on the first floor, and they started carrying them because they knew I was gonna buy them, and they were
Smart.
right.
Yeah, very, very smart.
I would literally walk in, throw down the money, grab the stuff, and walk out. Like there was no talking or anything like that. It was definitely interesting. I'm definitely getting the hibiscus on here for sure.
A little bit on the You said raspberry?
Yeah,
A little bit on the raspberry.
Yeah.
Definitely get the tea.
Yeah,
Hey, look, Ken, it says it has your favorite thing, keto friendly.
I know.
Keto
So
friendly.
I asked him about it because he started launching his products.
So
and
there's
I'm like,
there's absolutely zero sugar added to this product.
That's awesome. This is good.
This is very good.
Well, that's why. Speaking of tea, I went to. Have you had hop tea before from Whole Foods?
I have not, no.
Yes.
It's so good.
Oh, it is so good. It is so
What
damn
what
good.
hop are they using?
Because there's one.
There's
where-
different hops in each one.
Yeah, because there's the black tea one that I think
That's a Citra.
That's the Citra, and then there's another one that uses Simcoe, and from the pour to nose is like all you smell is just Simcoe, and it's just amazing, and you just drink that thing, you get the hoppiness from it, but it's just, I mean, then you get the tea, and it's just that's it.
Is this
And-
a Whole Foods exclusive? It's their brand?
So they purchased the distribution rights for national, but they still have wherever they're located is where they distro in stores and stuff like that. But Whole Foods carries it nationally.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
actually, I just talked to Ashley at Holiday before I came here, and he said he's been talking to his distributors about trying to get some of that in there. Though the one thing that I think in our conversation that both of us said was that as far as price point, it seemed a little high because Whole Foods.
I think it's $2.99 a can.
Yeah, Whole Foods had it on sale too for $5, and Ashley's gripe with it was that he felt I can get hop water,
Yeah.
and I can get 4 bottles, which I can get that for right now. It's there for $5.
Yeah. Is
So-
that the Lagunitas one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder if you can just take a long time and steep some tea bags into pour
Yeah.
32 ounces of hop water, do some tea steeping,
tea
and you're good to go
There you
for
go.
sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely trying it.
It's
the
good.
hop water
I'm
and
gonna-
tea.
No, I'm gonna try and make it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go buy it and then I'm gonna try and make it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of you guys.
Now you come from a brewing background. What was the change? Why was the change needed to go to Reputation or start Reputation?
Sure. So about a year and 2 months ago, I sold my shares of Ellison. So I co-founded Ellison Brewery and Spirits in East Lansing with a business partner.
I learned way too late. You are the Ella and Ellison.
I am the Ella and Ellison. So that will, as far as I know, that will continue. So that's nice. Appreciate that. So I, it was the right time for me to move endeavors. Kind of just like a lot of people talk about, partnerships aren't for everyone, and sometimes they kind of go south. And the south part was more a division of direction. Between the two of us, staying small and local was important to me, and the opposite was what's happening right now, which is totally fine, and I'm no longer involved. So kudos to them, and hopefully they can continue to grow and execute everything they want. So,
Had you been making cold coffee, kombucha, anything like that over there, or
never.
Never. So
Never.
what about homebrewing?
I do not have a brewing background at all.
Okay.
I
Oh.
have a distribution background. So my bringing to that partnership was the ability to find wholesalers and partners throughout the state of Michigan and take our product from zero to around the state in a few months.
Well, I think you could definitely see that you recreating that magic with Reputation, because you kind of just hit the ground running. And I know you have a little store, don't you?
Yeah, actually, we have two coffee shops.
Okay.
And I actually bought a existing business and brought my brand to that business in the way to quickly get my health license to be able to make the kombucha in bigger quantities outside of just selling it at a couple local farm stands and whatnot. And then that was just the best opportunity for me, was to buy a pre-existing business and move it on. And actually, the logo is on the side of it. What it used to be, it was called the Crafted Bean. So that is no longer, and it's got moved over to Reputation. When I sold Ellison, actually my wife's with us, Jessica. She was bringing home kombucha, and I was just dumbfounded on what the hell kombucha was. And then furthermore, the price point with it, and I'm like, what? It's a $5 bottle of GTs? What's a GT? And I don't remember the exact one that she brought home, but the one that I absolutely loved, I fell in love with, was GT Gatorade. Gingerade, excuse me.
Gingerade.
Trademark infringement. Sorry.
I'm looking at the shelf right now.
Yeah.
Like, where's
Not Gatorade.
Ginger? Okay.
Gingerade. And I was
Gingerade.
just like, what the hell is this? This is awesome. It's really good. And more and more, I was like, I kind of Google searched it, and I realized that it was a fermented product. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we can make some. And so probably about, I don't know, maybe 2 months before the transaction of Ellison ended, I was starting to brew at home in my basement, and turned into a disaster.
Uh-oh.
First times are usually a
She's
disaster.
shaking her head over there in the corner.
Are we talking bad flavor or explosion?
No, neither actually. It went from
Neither?
It went from 1 gallon to 5 gallon buckets to 30-gallon buckets very quickly.
So you are no longer using the basement for anything else.
No, and it smells like straight up vinegar. And it's not. It's just the fermentation process.
Sure.
Just leaves that. And actually, the very best cleaner for kombucha is straight vinegar. Instead of using anything that would harm the natural yeast, you want to use something that's natural, which is the vinegar. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I say as much as I drink it, I have yet to try to brew it myself, and I'm thinking about trying to do that maybe in the near future, provided I gotta make sure I clear that in the house.
You should 100%.
I will
get that
definitely.
cleared up.
I am not going to just. Oh, hey, look, honey, I'm making some kombucha.
If you would like a SCOBY, I'd love to gift you a SCOBY.
Oh my
That would be
gosh.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy.
Let's crack open. So let's do a kombucha right there.
Yeah,
the
let's
tart
go.
cherry.
Yeah. So let's go with the Michigan Tart Cherry. This was probably the second. Now, when you open it, similar to your growler, you want to be.
I'm gonna be very careful.
A little bit cautious on open it.
I mean, I was gonna say, does that? I mean, is there a warning on here? Because obviously, I'm used to with GTs. I'm used to
Yes.
seeing kombucha in bottles.
Yes.
And so seeing it in a can, it just kind of
Scares you?
a little bit because I don't know. Just I'm looking at it and structural integrity and all, and I'm thinking a bottle is going to be a little bit more safer than a can. But I just think I don't know if like I said, if there's like any type of warning, but just I guess be careful with it.
There's no warning, but we could argue from the beer side. You can argue that the can is absolutely the most strongest vessel out there for numerous reasons. But the biggest benefit is just like beer, you don't want sunlight entering the product.
Right.
You want it dark and cold and delicious. So this was the second product that we started making. at home. Was it the second one? I don't even know. I think it was the second one.
It's definitely tart.
No, it was because the very first one was grapefruit.
So talk to me real quick about your Instagram because your meme game is a little on point.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is that all you or
I actually have a really good buddy. His name's Steven. Shout out to Steven. He kept on sending me some just silly memes. I'm like, dude, can you just make me one for reputation? He's like, yeah, hang on a second. And then within, I don't know, 3 seconds, he started sending them to me, and they just started piling up. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then he finally showed me how to make them on my own, which I did appreciate. We were talking offline just a minute ago about algorithms and trying to figure it out, and the social media game has just changed from when I started with the Ellison, where we went from 10 followers to 10,000 followers in like 3 months. And now it's super hard to get in the right algorithm to get any traction on your pages. And, if someone wants to steal it, please do. But memes seem to resonate with a lot of people, and you get a lot more shares and interaction with them. So
we've noticed that a lot because we used to have a thing on our page that Matt used to do called the Lulz for Lunch.
Okay.
And just your standard beer memes, nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but those always would get like I still remember I think our most liked photo, including the voting photos for our stuff, is like a Stone Cold Steve Austin photo with 2 Budweisers. Like you can try so hard.
Is
and
that
put
the one
so,
where he's like eating it or biting the side of it to open it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But the thing is that you'd spend so much time making thoughtful posts and, doing sales and all these things, putting money down on, advertisements. And sure enough, the dumbest thing is the one that kind of like explodes a little bit more. And there's only so much that you can do. I really like this. This is at 0.5%?
Yeah. Well, the lab came back at 0.03.
0.03.
Yeah, so every product has to go through a third-party independent lab to be certified to go out into distribution. A little bit different than the beer world, which I'm sure is changing soon. But it's an added expense that I kind of wasn't expecting because not every batch, but every new can that I come up with does have to get sent out to the lab to be. So you have to do the nutrition facts on the side. Once you get over a certain gallon amount, you need to do that. And then it's similar to beer. And then you have to, for the health department, show them your lab results before they'll sign off on it, which is, fair. I mean, you are consuming a drink that.
Slightly alcoholic. But this one not requiring ID.
No.
If I remember correctly, because it's 0.5
Yeah.
that requires an ID.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are starting to move towards these types of drinks? Like if you went to a like a store like a Kroger or something like that 2 years ago, the amount of stuff that you would have seen is not comparable to what you see now.
No.
In regards to choices, options, you had your standard, your Starbucks cold brew coffee, or you didn't have all these small brands. And when you go to Whole Foods, it's just, SKU overload.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different things for you to try.
I don't know about your guys' Whole Foods, but ours in East Lansing, they only have, I think, 3 SKUs, maybe 4 SKUs of kombucha. I don't know about the coffee side, but
the Detroit one used to have a lot because I just moved to Ann Arbor and I haven't really gotten a chance to get a feel for that one yet. And this is the one over by 23.
Okay.
But
that one's massive.
though, yeah, the one in Detroit at least, like I remember because it was always in the end caps. All the kombucha was always in the end caps, and I remember seeing it all the time while waiting in line. And I'm like, the things always seemed too sugary for me that I just never would get them. I'm assuming this isn't keto friendly.
This is not keto friendly, but I'm 100% aware of what you're talking about. I'm trying to go as low as possible. The Citra one, which we'll try next, it's coming in at 2 grams of carbs, 2 grams of sugar. Where this one I believe is 8, and it's just a difference of the cherries using fresh pressed Michigan cherry, so it's a higher sugar content. Versus this one, there's a little bit of lime and lemon juice in it, but it's very more acidic than it is heavy sugar. And then we're just throwing hops in it. So, but I agree. Like I'm trying to lower it as much as I can compared to a lot of the commercial.
What happens if you make an alcoholic mistake?
It has happened. It has never left the building. I do check the alcohol on every batch.
Okay.
Similar that you would as a homebrew setup, you can do it at home too. You just use your starter and your end. So, but you guys want to go to the Citra?
Yeah, let's do it too.
So,
All right.
I mean, as far as that alcoholic mistake, I mean, we're talking like how high were we at?
I don't know how Unity Vibration does theirs, but I think all natural you probably get to about 2 or 3%.
Okay.
But it's gonna be it's just gonna be a waiting game. It's gonna take a while for it to get all the way out there.
There was actually one that I had from GT's. I can't remember what the flavor was, but it was pina colada. And it was a 3% kombucha, and it was one of the worst ones I think I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like okay, yeah, that alcohol needs to just stay down. It just wasn't the flavor on it was just really, really off.
It's tough to work with coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried it. So in the coffee shops, we do have 6 tap handles. So I rotate through different flavor profiles and trying to try something different. Then we also do like a growler club. So you can come there and just kind of like what you did is you just fill up a growler, but it's all different than what's in the cans.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as far as distribution, where around here can we get this?
I am with M4. It's kind of a slower rollout based on product availability. I'm working out of a bank cellar or bank vault. So the building that we have is old bank, and I repurposed the bank as the brewery. So I'm only able to make about 150 gallons a month. So it's not a ton. So actually, Ann Arbor has probably the most availability of the kombucha right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's where M4 is their main warehouse is out of. So
I could do that.
yeah,
I mean, if I had to go out to Lansing, I'm gonna take my ass out to Lansing. I don't care.
yeah. Come on out. We'd love to have you.
I'm just trying to get through the kombucha so I can get to the.
No, it's fine. Absolutely.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's
tart.
It's not really.
You don't think so? For me, it is. I don't mind it though. Tarts, I like tart.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's just that like, just that hint of the lemon and the lime that's in there.
Oh, we're talking about the Citra Hopped?
The Citra Hopped,
Okay,
yeah. And usually I think I'm usually not a big fan of Citra.
Yeah.
But having the lemon and lime to just kind of
Subtle.
yeah, and just like, oh hey, I'm here, and just that's it. So yeah, this is I'm liking it.
If you would have told me that this is kombucha, I would be like, it is.
I mean,
it's like almost like lemonade.
I mean, almost looking at it, it's like, wait, did you just give me hot water?
Hot water.
No, this is probably my absolute favorite one. It does marry the two, the brewery side and the kombucha side together. It was really fun to create it. I'm expanding on. I just did a Simcoe and Amarillo one. I'm kind of excited about those too. Haven't made it into most production or can production yet, but hopefully soon.
Yes,
So.
I am a huge Simcoe fan.
What are you noticing
I'm the
like
opposite.
a big difference between going from a brewery like a beer brewery to brewing kombucha, like in regards to business processes, that kind of thing? Like what was something maybe that was unexpected for you?
The health department was unexpected because at Ellison we didn't have a kitchen. We were regulated.
I thought you were about to say you didn't have a health department. I'm like,
well,
we might need to cut that out of the show.
we were regulated from the Department of Ag.
That's right.
So we didn't have to follow a lot of the same procedures that I have to do now, and so rewriting best POS or rewriting practices and presented it to the health department. And where we live is in Clinton County. They were just dumbfounded on what kombucha was. So it was a lot of hand holding on explaining to them, yes, it's fermented. It doesn't have alcohol, because they kept referring me to go to the Department of Ag. I'm like, no, the Department of Ag isn't going to touch me. So it was kind of back and forth, and it took about 3 months to get it approved.
Wow.
Which was a little bit longer than I was anticipating, especially since I had so much going on in my basement that I didn't have an out for it yet. So.
Just get the stuff out of the basement.
Just get it out.
Into the building, please.
Get it out. And there was a lot of choice words after that. But
Uh-oh.
yeah, it was. It was definitely get it out.
Now, again, you guys can listen to us live every single Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Facebook.com/Better on Draft. Like, we have Eric Ripke saying hello to Eric and Jessica.
Hello, Eric.
So, again, you guys can join the chat, ask questions if you have any questions. This kombucha is, I think it's just all too sweet for me.
Okay, it's fair.
Like, it's
well, you are keto life. So
yeah. Well, I never
that
was.
is, your body is in shock. Right
Well,
now.
I've been off program for the week because
Fair.
Again, 3 days of open bar, and then a lot of like travel and stuff, and I just had to like.
So, are you admitting that you did not make it 30 days?
Oh, I did not know.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I made it up until the plane ride into Boston.
Fair.
And then after the plane ride, and then all night, and the next day, yeah. I did not make it. The bacon was delicious on Monday. That's how bad. That's how I went. Because even 3.5 weeks off of like no alcohol, and I never really went. I haven't gone as hard as I used to. And now it's just so. It messed me up, that's for sure.
I mean, your body definitely reacts to it differently. After I sold the brewery, I didn't go fully dry, but I reduced so much. And it's not that I was going out to drink every night. It was, hey, you should try this to make sure it's okay, or we should sample this or sample that. And all of a sudden, you're having 12, 14 samples a day.
Oh, jeez.
And you just don't, it just adds up over time.
Yeah.
So then once I cut it all back, it was, she can contest, I get pretty drunk pretty quick now, which is surprising on my size, but it's sometimes it's not pretty anymore. So I can relate for sure.
We actually are going to be ending the month with this episode along with a kind of like an editorial. We had a guest writer, which you guys do not know, but Kyle Vandevenner of Griffin Claw decided to write about taking a break from drinking in the industry and how to be in the industry while not drinking in the industry.
Good for him.
So I know he did very, very well. He couldn't turn down all the booze we were drinking for the Flying Buffalo episode, but he definitely went, I guess to be the opposite of hard is soft. So he was drinking just little sippers of all the Flying Buffaloes, and then we actually cracked open a 10-year-old bottle from the original brewery.
Holy shit.
Jeez.
And
How was that?
Oh, that was good.
it held up
it good?
so well.
Yes, it did.
We were very, very happy with it. It was only a 12-ounce bottle, so we had to share it between everyone.
Dan's the man. I don't know. He knows what he's doing for sure.
So this is the kombucha. Let's move into the coffee.
Some coffee? Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All about coffee.
So we're gonna go to the Colombian blend first. There we go.
Now, where do you get your coffee from?
It's actually contract roasted for us here in Metro Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah. I will not say exactly who's contracting for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's made in particular for us. Had it in line for a little while. Really happy with it.
How much coffee are you putting into, say, like a keg of this, like a sixtel of?
I'm not sure if I should divulge that information.
I'm just curious how much coffee ground's going to make something like this, because obviously
I will say I'll say pounds.
pounds. Okay.
I'll say pounds. I will not tell you how many.
Oh, you want to tell me?
I'm not gonna tell you how many pounds.
Pounds of coffee.
Pounds of coffee.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Ounces of coffee? Yeah, I mean, you could measure it in ounces.
It's pounds of coffee.
Man.
Fuck ton of coffee.
Less than tons of coffee.
Less than tons of coffee.
More than pounds of coffee.
I'm learning pretty quickly that I got to watch what I say as I expand distribution, especially as some stuff is kind of trade secret.
That's okay.
So
How you feeling over there, Nick?
Oh, this is really good. The smell is like super strong. I love the smell of strong coffee.
I mean, it like basically like took me back to like
Yeah.
going to my grandfather's house. Now granted, the coffee that is in here is of superior quality than that of Senka or Brim.
Sanka.
However,
I'll have a Sanka.
I mean, oh my God.
So this is a little
Wow.
treat. This is a little treat. I made this yesterday.
Oh, really?
So it's fresh.
So the hops haven't
fresh,
fallen
off. Hops have not fallen off of this baby. It's very similar to beer, though. I mean, you got to consume it quick. You got to consume it fast, and it needs to stay cold. As soon as it changes temperature, it just changes the flavor profile.
Like I took that first sip and it just like caught me by surprise. I'm like, because I'm not used to I'll have coffee in the morning on my way to work, and then when I'm getting close to the bottom, I haven't gotten a refill. It gets a little on the cooler side, and like it's that taste, and it's black coffee too.
Yeah.
It's like I get that one last like lukewarm, cool sip, and I'm like, oh, this is like terrible.
Right.
But now this, being that it's cold brew,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, this is how it's supposed to be served.
This is basically me getting up in the morning. This is first drink.
Yeah.
Maybe obviously, everybody's supposed to stay hydrated, drink some water.
Gotta
But
drink some water.
I mean, this is
Oh, there's technically filtered water in
like
here.
this would be my coffee in the morning.
Thank you.
This is
is
really,
really
good. And just
good.
like the amount,
Pounds
pounds
of coffee.
triple digit probably pounds.
So prior to this, on the brewery side, we started drinking nitro just from one of our friends was making it for us, and I liked it. I wasn't like craving it all the time, and then when I sold the brewery and kind of stopped drinking as much, I needed it. It was really good. Like it really hit the spot for me. I think it was kind of like tasting a coffee stout almost. Making it as strong as you can, and then I use we hit ours with nitro. So I'm trying to put nitro in a can, and it's becoming a little bit more difficult than I thought. The biggest thing is just like with Guinness, they put a widget at the bottom.
Right.
Yep.
In my small room, I'm not able to afford such a thing, or the coffee would be $10 a can, which wouldn't be ideal. So I'm trying to do it in non-conventional ways, and I'm getting closer. I'm getting better. I'm not quite there yet. Having it off draft, just like having a beer off draft, it's probably the best you could possibly get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like I said, this is like definitely for those who like sugar in their coffee. No, and if this was me if this was put in my hand 7 years ago, no way.
I think
because it just like the bitterness of just coffee on its own without the sweet. I couldn't handle it.
I don't know though. I'm a cream and sugar girl, and I think this is delicious.
Oh,
So-
well,
Thank you.
close your ears for what I'm about to say. But
Uh-oh.
if your coffee needs cream or sugar, your coffee is bad.
It's like putting A1 on a steak.
I have had the coffee that, and I'd have to try to remember it. Maybe I'll just text Shane during the break. But the coffee that One Eyed Betty's uses,
Yeah.
just straight black coffee that they serve to their guests. I know the Mercury bar over in Detroit uses Beckeroos.
Okay.
Over in
We use that at work.
yeah, that stuff is some of the best coffee I've ever had. And so like I'll go through, and it's gotten to the point where like I've snobbed a lot about coffee, and I used to drink a lot because I used to work for at the time Beaners,
Not racist.
now Big B, and
Also not racist.
I just none of their coffee tasted good to me. Sorry, Beaners. But as I got older and my palate adapted a little bit, like I've started to realize like coffee that's good, coffee that I just can't stand. And if I have to put sweet and low into your coffee to make it tolerable, like I'd almost rather not drink it. But usually then I need caffeine. And what's the caffeine
So-
before we go to this Rocky
200,
Road
200 milligrams
per can?
per can.
Whew.
per can. take half drink.
Oh,
So we're on the opposite side.
Wow.
We don't need a 13%.
What's the freshness rating? Like, can you open up a can, pour half, and
no?
no? What if I put like a can topper on it?
The air is your enemy. Oxygen is your enemy. Just like
in a beer?
Just like beer. Yeah, just like beer. Back to cream and sugar. I will say that I think that if you do like that and you try this Colombian for the first time, there's a lot of people that are surprised that they can start drinking. It's almost a gateway. Because once you start drinking your coffee black, you can taste all the nuances.
Yeah.
And this is super.
That is 100% true.
Super weird
Yep.
to like say that because I wasn't ever
There's
actually
so many
coffee.
jokes.
I would
There's
say, yeah.
so many jokes there right
but
now.
like about a year ago, I started drinking, just plain black coffee. You got a Keurig at home. So
Sure.
and then I'll drink whatever's at the office. So I
Yep.
started doing that. So yes, I would do cream and sugar. Started drinking it black, just because that way I wouldn't have the creamer or the sugar, all the calories associated with it. And it just grows on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just grows on you, and next thing you know, it's like that's all you're drinking when it comes to coffee.
Yep.
Yeah.
And about really the only other thing that I do is I'll put in like a teaspoon of cinnamon. That's it.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I like
For keto. And I was
Bingo square.
keto life.
Oh, that's a free space. Sorry.
So the next one that we're trying is called Rocky Road.
the smell on
The
this.
smell. Oh man.
I mean, it is just.
it's like smelling Rocky Road ice cream.
For me, it's like somebody just baked a chocolate cake, cut it, and just put it in front of me, and just said, "All you can do is smell it.
Yeah.
Just let the steam roll off
What
of
a-
it, and just
such
just."
a tease.
I know that's it. It's oh my goodness.
It tastes like melted coffee ice cream.
Wow.
So did you check the side label?
I did. It says keto.
What else? Did you check
Hold
the
on.
nutrition facts?
Let's see here.
This is keto.
It's straight zero. There's 200 plus milligrams of caffeine on it. Vegan certified, paleo certified, keto friendly. It says clean energy 800 times on it.
I mean, sometimes you don't know where the can's gonna be on the shelf. You got to make sure you see that.
So is it hard to get to actually say it on your labels, on your cans, gluten free, GMO free, it's vegan certified? How? Because I don't think you could just
can't.
put it on there. How difficult is it to
Pay to play, baby.
pay to play?
Pay to play.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately,
Do you have to keep sending in the
all the time.
All the time.
Send
Really?
all the shit all the time. Unfortunately, yeah, it's all about cut a check here, cut a check there, make sure this is right, that's right.
Does it change a lot when you have that label versus saying keto friendly or gluten free friendly, or not gluten free? Obviously, you don't want to say that, but
Sure.
gluten reduced or low gluten,
Does it help on can sales in particular?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's well needed, and you just do it. But back to not to cut you off, but
Oh no, you're fine.
not
You're good.
switch a topic, but the Rocky Road was kind of an answer to getting some flavor and getting some people that would be nervous to drink a straight up black coffee.
I could see that.
So this is 100% roast. It has nothing added to it. There's no additives. There's no nothing.
It almost tastes like a watered down stout.
I mean, you
Like
could-
not in a bad way. Like
Sure.
water. Like
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to just say fuck the keto and add the fat, you could make a float with this.
Yes. Butter.
Straight butter.
Butter.
You could make. Oh my god, just like
I want to get a T-shirt now that says "fuck the keto." add the
Keto.
fat. I feel like that is that. I need to mark that time. And now instead of "here is real beer" with the news, it's gonna say "fuck the keto, add the fat." Guys, I know you have a time limit. So let's crack open that last can
we'll
over
get
there.
to the last one though.
Oh,
And,
there's so much caffeine on this freaking table.
Jamaican Island.
All right, what's the story with this one? What makes this Jamaican?
It makes it Jamaican because
he's Jamaican you crazy.
Make me crazy.
the taste profile. Once you try it, you'll understand. It's all about the taste profile.
I'm gonna milk this Rocky Road out just a little bit
Let's
longer.
get you another.
Wendy, can you when you're done, if you can hand me that other empty glass?
Yep.
Now, for those of you listening that might not be in the state or might not be near Lansing, you guys have a website that you can purchase everything.
Everything is available online, and I do ship at all 50 states.
Really?
Do ship to all 50 states. I see you can make your own 4-pack, like a mix match 4-pack sampler.
Yep.
on your website for $12. All of these cans that we've tried today are available on your website.
Only thing out is what we don't have today is our grapefruit. We ran out. I gotta
Ran
make
out of
more.
the grapefruit?
Gotta make more.
Damn.
You do have some. I love your logo, by the way. I actually
you.
put the pin on my.
I appreciate that.
My hoodie for you. I took one for my girlfriend too because I know she's gonna definitely want it. Like you guys sell the Rocky Road, the coffee, the bean.
Yeah, the whole bean itself we sell also, and then
How does it taste hot?
you have to come try it. bud.
Oh my god!
Yes, we're gonna make a trip out
I
to
should have
DeWitt,
brought
man.
you guys some. And if you guys want to get a nitro tap out here, we can just do straight coffee. You guys will have coffee after your beer episodes.
Gosh.
Just put it out there.
I'm just gonna
Just tease it.
I think I just need one for my house for
yeah,
sure.
no shit.
So Jamaican, let's give this a quick try before we sign off for our first break.
It's nice and mellow. I'm really liking that.
Hazelnut and vanilla. Is what
Hazelnut,
the
vanilla.
can says.
Yep.
Definitely the vanilla and yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I get so mad when people don't get the vanilla right. And it's right. It's there. Sorry to make that sound like it was some fucking reality TV show where there's the pause. Didn't mean that. I mean,
Is this Bravo?
The
we're doing
suspense
here?
was there. I liked it.
Reality TV?
that,
Is this
that
Bravo?
was not my intent, but it's just like it just burns me when people say they put vanilla in shit and it's just not there. And it's just like it's just like the everything with the coffee, the hazelnut, and just like that hint of vanilla. That's you only need a hint when you have hazelnut on top of that. You don't need this huge ass bucket of vanilla. It's just balanced. So,
That's a good word for it. Yeah, because people can put too much vanilla, or the vanilla just overpowers it to the point
Yeah.
where you're just drinking vanilla.
exactly.
But there's nothing in this. This is straight roast.
It's a damn
Just straight
bean.
roast.
It's the damn bean again.
It's a goddamn bean.
Goddamn bean.
Trade secrets. All the bean. All the days.
I mean, considering there's been, I mean, I've had like a white Russian bean before.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Right.
But it's just like,
The science is there.
yeah.
Already.
Guys, I tell you what, you need to go and try all of this beer.
Find
you need
this
to go
stuff.
buy the
Yes.
cans, order online, go straight to the store. I'm gonna have to get out to Lansing here. My guess is I might be right before beer festival.
Come on out.
Go get some coffee to
Yeah.
keep in the car, nice
Absolutely.
and cool.
Yep.
And that's gonna do it. We're gonna take a quick break. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is sponsored by the Ferndale Set. This is Brother Son.
I'm headed for the city, trouble in my mind. I'm way too young and pretty for things to be unkind. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I'm headed for the city to see what I can unwind. Always gotta start it to dictate, make it in this life. Time is all we have now, so let's make something while we can. I'm headed for the city to make me start again. Conversation now and then. Gotta go, gotta get it. Don't make things go south, baby. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh.
All right, and we're back. Dry January, episode number 3. We will be back to our regularly scheduled programs starting next week. And boy, do we have a lot of great shows upcoming, including the return of Homeless, I guess we could call Nick the Brewer. I mean, he's not actually homeless. We're going to have Brooks Brewing coming in.
I think Roke?
Roke's going to be coming in. Girls Pint Out, Loaded Dice. And we also have a special host for the Nick the Brewer episode.
Wait, special host?
Special host.
What?
He is tall, long black hair.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
started the show.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Dan will be back in town
Hell yeah.
for a one-time episode, and he is excited to join us.
The big machine is coming back.
That's going to be awesome.
That is right.
We're gonna
But
bring up some pumpkin beers.
oh, you know what? We should just all bring pumpkin beers. Shipyard. Just all bring Shipyard.
Well,
No
say-
offense to Shipyard. but
When can we expect him? Is he,
he will be here on the 14th.
14th.
Valentine's Day.
Oh.
He is going to be our Valentine's date. As always with segment 2.
Here is Robert with the beer news.
Have to look important.
God damn, that Jamaican coffee is so good.
I'm still-
I did not have a bad drink.
No,
Even
There's
that-
not one
these
bad
were
thing on here at this table.
unreal. I mean, these were just like some really, really good stuff coming out of this, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious with, you know, I guess his side saying that he wanted to keep things kind of small and local. That
How do
this-
you?
How do you with this stuff that is this good that's going to happen?
Yeah, how do you keep this from blowing up?
Right.
I don't think you. I mean, I don't know. I guess I was not really. I didn't really know what to think about cold brew coffee going into tonight. I know we've had it like maybe one or two other times, maybe on the show, but I'm a fan now, and he's because of it.
I mean, I've had it. I usually have it, you know, at Eastern Market.
Sure.
Because they make
they
their
have such a good
they
cold brew
make their
coffee
they
over
make
there,
a cold
too.
brew there. And so, you know, and sometimes whenever I do any grocery shopping and end up at Whole Foods, sometimes I'll end up getting a bottle. But this stuff just kind of knocked the doors off of anything
Yeah.
that I think I've had.
It didn't break the walls down, right, Ken?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho
It kind of did.
reference?
It kind of did.
Okay.
How
Yes, you do.
what's going on with the beer news there, Rob?
Well, you know, as I was saying when we started, that I was in jury duty for so damn long that I forgot about doing any type of beer news for the most part. But I got a couple of things that are in here, and actually some items that were sitting in here since like November, but they're still topical. So I think if we have time, we can go through them. Okay. So Corona is kind of having themselves a little bit of a bad January, thanks to a unrelated issue that is happening across the globe.
Oh, God.
Of course, we know that as the Wuhan virus, but has developed, obviously, the name called the coronavirus. And so there's been this uptick of Google searches where people have been searching online for, quote, corona beer virus or beer coronavirus. It's so much so that according to Google Trends that those searches have increased substantially around the world since January 18th. The 18th. And from the 18th to the 26th, searches for corona beer virus jumped 2,300% globally. And searches for, quote, beer virus jumped 744% in the same period, along with beer coronavirus jumping 3,233%.
Oh my God! Get out of here! Seriously?
It is serious. Now the company stock has not suffered because of this little coincidence.
Well, that's good.
But I mean, basically, the overall reason why the names are obviously is this similar is that when looking at the virus through a microscope, the virus looks like crowns, and like just the molecules, everything in there looks like crowns, and crown in Latin is corona, and so therefore that's how they get coronavirus.
So do you? Okay. Well, all right. Well, that I learned something new about why they call it coronavirus. But I guess why would people first think to associate coronavirus with the beer?
Well, think about it. I mean, all the commercials. I mean, it's football season. I mean, how many times during an NFL game have you seen Tony Romo sitting behind the Corona desk, formerly occupied by, oh Jesus, I can't remember his name now, John Gruden, because it was Gruden 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and then now it's Tony Romo, and I mean, Corona is, for all of its commercials and its Find Your Beach, which is
My
hilarious
gosh.
because I had a team playing trivia on Wednesday. They named themselves Find Your Bleach. Coronavirus.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's a
I don't know.
it's a big brand name that's out there, and
Yeah.
so when you hear coronavirus, you're like, wait, what the hell's wrong with my beer?
Well,
I mean, the general just looking at it, just obviously there's people who are looking it up.
I guess, but I don't know. Me, when I first heard that was the name that they gave this virus, whatever the fuck it is, the last thing I was going to associate it with was
the beer.
Was the beer that you put a lime in the damn bottle.
Because I mean, with the beer, you would expect to hear, "Oh, there's a recall on Corona," or something like that.
I would. That would be like the first thing. Well, not the first. The second thing that would happen in the news. There would be a national recall on this beer.
On the beer,
Yeah.
but obviously
Corona Especial.
right.
My first thought was, why did they name it after a beer? Not that it was because of the beer or
Well,
something
I mean,
like that. but-
Like before you found out that
Yeah.
Corona is
Latin
Which
for
I
Latin
found
for
out 2
crown.
seconds ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at the Corona bottle now, in the blue logo is a crown.
Yes.
So it is obviously it's the same thing.
It just
But-
it's just when I first learned, like, and I don't really watch the news that much, and that's probably a very good reason why I didn't really quite understand why they called it coronavirus.
Well, but that is why. And so far, it was like obviously the memes have been out. I think one of my favorite ones was in light of the coronavirus. In light of the coronavirus, Corona has decided to change their name, and on the labels it now says Ebola. But I think my favorite one is it's just a picture of a bottle of Corona that is facing a bottle of like 10 bottles of Heineken, and the front bottle of Heineken has the face mask that is covering in front of it. Just that they're all looking at the Corona bottle. I mean, it's a little crazy, but I mean, when something comes out like that,
Expect the meme lords to take over.
You expect that, and you would just expect people to just wait a minute. Holy shit! I need to look at my beer. I need to figure out what's going on, because I mean, it's like Kleenex, in a way. It's just a name. It's there, and you hear
Yeah.
Corona. It's like, fuck my beer.
Well, I certainly hope that they fix this thing. I know.
We've got a couple cases here.
Well, I think in Michigan, I think they reported 4, and luckily all of them have come back negative. Mm-hmm. I think there was one confirmed in Illinois.
Yep.
And
There was one that happened at Boston Logan the same day I was there.
Oh shit! Were you like panicking by any chance?
No, because based on like the terminals and stuff like that, I figured out where this person could have been, and I realized that I was not.
On that side of the airport.
Yeah, it wasn't near me, but yeah, I definitely
Small victories.
We posted it in our work chat because obviously, so we had 2,900 people I think show up for this work outing this week, but not everyone lives in Boston. A lot of people flew in, so that got posted, and we're just like, all right, here we go.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, that was fun.
Let's go to that next article because I want to talk about it. I got a topic.
All right. So, recent research was done by the daringkitchen.com, which to me, from what I saw in this article, it essentially was just them doing kind of a Twitter poll to see what the number one beer that is going to be had in each state on Super Bowl Sunday. So, as you would expect with most of the beers that are out there, that Bud and Bud Light pretty much have the run of the country, with them holding a total of 29 states. Bud Light had the most overall at 18. Bud had 11. Coors at 9, which was interesting with Coors because most of the states are in the West except for us, because apparently Coors is number 1 here.
Some Curs.
6 are Guinness,
Oh.
and 5 for Miller Lite. So I guess the question was going to start is, for Super Bowl Sunday, provided you are going to a party or planning on watching it, what is going to be your go-to beer on Sunday?
Whiskey. I think like for me, if I'm going for a beer, I'm going for probably Guinness. Just because calorie count, I might go towards Cranker's Keto IPA, or if I could find some Woodshed B43, those will probably be my actual beer choices, or Bon and Vive.
Bon and Vive.
Yes.
Because of all the work my wife and I have been putting into the house, getting it ready for sale and putting it on the market this weekend, I think I'm just gonna open something probably a little on the heavier side. I'm not gonna drink a lot, maybe 1, 2, maybe. Probably go into some of the Dragon's mug that I have or something.
Yeah, that's 1 or 2.
1 or 2
for sure.
Dragons.
Yeah, I don't know. I do want to open up my my BCBS, but I'm kind of waiting for the house to be sold right now.
But Nicholas, that's Anheuser-Busch.
I don't care. It's a good beer.
Yeah. Who
What
else
about
is-
you, Wendy?
Yeah.
Oh, I am not going to be watching the Super Bowl. I actually have tickets to see the Bronx Tale at the Fisher Theater on
Oh,
Sunday.
okay.
Ooh.
All right.
It was a good movie.
So, but I will be having bourbon because that's what I have when I go there.
At the Fisher Theater.
Yeah,
Nice.
Very
Particular
nice.
brand?
Woodford Reserve.
Woodford.
Such a like that Woodford and Tullamore are my 2 go-tos when I'm out and about. When I don't want to have to try to guess what kind of whiskeys they have, or I want to guess what kind of prices they have.
Right.
Usually it's a safe bet to go for Woodford. You're not getting some garbage whiskey, and you could just drink it neat.
Right.
And- Are you a neat or rocks?
On the rocks.
Rocks? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at this map, Rob, with
Yep.
the beer that people might be drinking the most on Super Bowl Sunday. It's interesting to see how some of these beers are actually kind of regionalized to where they're at. So, like for example, you have the 2 of the 6 states for Guinness in the Pacific Northwest,
Right.
Oregon and Washington.
But also,
I wonder if you're thinking what I'm thinking on this next piece. So go ahead.
I mean, the 2 that are, in the far northeast, all the way on the other side of the country,
Yeah.
is Guinness.
Yep. Okay.
So
All right. Yep.
there's that.
But what I think is very very interesting is that if you basically go to basically the South, basically where the dividing line of North and South, probably during the Civil War,
yeah.
all Budweiser.
All Budweiser.
All Budweiser.
That is looking very red.
The Dakotas and I think is that Wyoming?
That was so unintentional, Rob, but that was too funny for me. I'm interested as why West Virginia is a Guinness state.
I would figure that'd be a moonshine state.
This is too. I mean, there's that. I mean, even with Coors, and it was even in the article just kind of being, that seems a little weird that Michigan is a Coors state, Coors Light rather. Let me correct
I mean,
that.
I was a Coors drinker when I was growing up.
Me too.
But I mean, it also
Boombas at Augie's.
Pictures at JD's.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
But I think what they were just kind of looking at is that with Coors Light, it's Colorado, Arizona, but then it goes to Michigan and it goes as far east as that's New York.
New York, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Michigan or New York don't have a Canadian like a Molson or a Labatt as their number one
That's
seller.
good. That's a good point.
Because we get a lot of that, especially in Michigan and in New York. Like you see a lot of Canadian lagers in comparison to other states that I've been to, where you don't see it as prominent. You can walk into any dive bar, and no matter what, you're probably at least seeing 2.
Yes.
Like a Labatt and a Molson.
You're probably that, and you're always probably guaranteed to see blue light.
Yep.
Always. again, and here's another observation about this map. The Bud Light states, it's very, very similar to a certain football team blue. And I'm thinking that this might be a like a football decision map. And I'm like, I don't even want to think about that team right now. Bunch of jerks that they are.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about. The Lions?
Yes, some team named the Lions. It's too close.
But I mean, Hawaii's in that Bud Light category, so
Yeah.
Honolulu Blue, damn it.
So with,
Illuminati.
Illuminati.
with the Super Bowl coming up, there are people who watch the game, people who watch commercials, and people who just want to drink.
Yes.
The commercials are always a big thing. Do you guys have a commercial that always stands out as one of your favorite Super Bowl commercials, or something you reference, or you might go back on YouTube and look for it later? Because now, most commercials get posted even before the Super Bowl happens.
I mean, that's been happening this week, too.
This week, yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah. A Super Bowl commercial that I remember. Well, the thing is just I feel like the last few years that the Super Bowl commercials have been kind of, you'll have a couple of good ones, but for the most part, they just don't stick out as, memorable.
Right.
I think there's one that I'm looking forward to see. There's a couple. Well, one right now. The one that I'm looking forward to seeing. It's not even talking about their product. It's going to be talking about the philanthropy behind it, and it's the WeatherTech one. So WeatherTech, they do those car liners, those truck liners. So the owner, the CEO, has this dog. He has this dog named Scout, and he had cancer, and he took him to University of Wisconsin, and they basically cured him. I mean, he's still going through radiation therapy and whatnot, but he's 10 times better than what he was going in. He's going to be sending all of the profit, like a portion or a significant portion of profits, to the University of Wisconsin's veterinary medicine school.
Oh, that's cool.
So that one's one that I'm going to kind of look forward to seeing. Outside of that, I haven't seen any other previews for any other commercials.
I mean, it just feels like, there's just going to be the ones that can typically afford it. So there's going to be a Doritos.
Right.
There's going to be M&M's.
Yep.
There might be another Monster.com. GoDaddy, which, I mean, I kind of feel like
Is Danica Patrick still a thing?
I mean, according to Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Oh,
I mean, don't tell him that, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be there's going to be just kind of the typical companies that I think, and I mean, it doesn't for how much it costs to do these commercials, or actually just to have the commercial, and then pay the people who are going to be in it, because I'm sure that there might be a prop line at Vegas for how many Oscar winners are going to show up in commercials on Sunday.
So, all right. So here's a quick trivia question. How much is the cost of this year's Super Bowl a 30-second commercial?
I probably wouldn't put it.
Is it the top one? The
No,
first
it's
one?
I guess it's the going rate of a 30-second commercial.
So I'm guessing it's maybe a localized commercial or something like that. So I
Or-
would probably say $5 million for the 30-second spot.
$5 million. Wendy,
Usually
I'm
I'm
gonna
doing
go
this.
with $3 million.
$3 million. Rob, what do you think?
$1.
How much?
40.
40. Ken was the closest by
A lot.
a lot. Sorry, Rob.
I overbid.
You weren't even in the realm.
This is why I don't do prices right.
$5.6 million for a 30-second spot this year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's always going to be like the Ford and the Chevy as well.
Yeah, Ford, Chevy, the Budweiser, Clydesdales, they'll be on there. Coca-Cola's going to have one with the polar bears. Doritos usually has a couple of good. Is good for one.
I feel like some of these companies need to do some philanthropic work themselves and just help somebody pay for a commercial of something else, because it's always the same shit. And Bud and Bud Light's probably going to have 4 commercials.
Oh, totally, totally. M&M's, I'm sure they'll have maybe 1 or 2.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I remember like when GoDaddy was doing the commercials, they would have like 5,
Yeah.
and it would all
But I
be with
mean-
Danica Patrick. Every one.
I mean, at that time, by that number, there were probably like $2.5 million. So it was a
Yeah,
little,
probably.
little cheaper back then.
Yeah, back then.
I mean, what is that? 5.6.
$5.6 million.
Yeah, but remember, look, was it 2 years ago? The Alexa ad that had like Rebel Wilson and Cardi B and
yes.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yep, Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Oi, oi! I love Gordon Ramsay. He's so freaking cool.
Just oi.
Oi!
I don't think he loves you
not-
for that.
Oi, buh, buh, buh.
He's not Australian. What the fuck?
I don't fucking know. You ever gone to any of his restaurants?
Gordon Ramsay? Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to one at Caesars in Vegas.
Hell's Kitchen?
No, the pub.
Okay. I went to the wife and I. We went to Hell's Kitchen about a year and a half ago.
Was he yelling at people?
No. But I don't think anyone was yelling at anyone. But the person who won Hell's Kitchen like the season before was running the kitchen at there, and that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
I never got into Hell's Kitchen. I couldn't follow it. I'm hoping for.
It's just Gordon Ramsay just yelling at people.
That show is so raw.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to think of the. I know it wasn't a Super Bowl commercial, but like the Dilly Dilly.
Dilly dilly.
I still love that commercial.
God.
I'm sure that will happen too.
That was by they'll probably do the Bud Light Renaissance
Oh yeah.
get up.
Oh, the Knights.
The Knights, yeah.
Yep. A continuation of that. Why
I
not?
don't think that took off as much as they thought it would.
You don't think so?
It felt like, with commercial to commercial, it just felt like the just continuation of this story of this king, and then when I think the part where essentially they jumped the shark was when all of a sudden Game of Thrones was in it, because I think that was last year, because when suddenly characters from Game of Thrones were in the commercial, and it was just okay, yeah, we're done here. So, but I think they're but it's going to be in there Sunday. It's for
I'm
sure.
sure
They got to milk that sucker dry.
Yeah.
So before we take a break and get into some other news, I just want to have a little bit of fun. Speaking of the Super Bowl, with some prop bets.
Oh shit!
Here
Yes,
we
I
go.
love these.
All right, so there is plenty of prop bets that go on right now. One is, will a John 3:16 banner sign be shown?
Yes.
Is that still a thing?
Wait,
Yes,
wait.
it is.
Repeat that. What?
Will a
what?
John 3:16 banner still be sign be shown?
Yes.
I say yes.
Just because
Yes.
of what Travis Kelce, or I think it was Kelce that did it during the game when they were making the comeback. They scored a touchdown, and dude was looking for some way to celebrate, and there were two Bud Lights that were sitting on the edge for these two people who were sitting in the front row. Grabbed the two beers, slammed them together, and then just put them over his head. Just went full stone cold. So yeah, that I think for sure is going to happen.
So this year they have lengthened the time. So Gladys Knight's national anthem ran for 2 minutes 1 second, which is actually the over/under bet for Demi Lovato doing the national
National
anthem.
anthem.
2 minutes 1 second.
I'm
Under.
You think under?
I think under.
I think over.
I'm gonna go with Wendy. I'm gonna think it's gonna be over, but I don't think it's gonna be by much though.
Like how many or like what quarter or half percentage of Aretha Franklin national anthems is this going to be?
Oh God. My coworker and I were talking about Aretha Franklin today at when she did America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 23.
Uh-huh.
And compared to for Super Bowl national anthem, how long did Aretha do that? Was that like 5-6 minutes?
I'd have to look, but the next
I'll
one
find
is
out.
the next one is length of the final word brave 5.5 seconds.
If I'm going under 201, I got to go under on that.
Aretha Franklin's 4 minutes 35 seconds.
Are you serious?
Holy shit!
My God.
Hey, she rocked that damn thing.
Will a fan run on the field?
Yes. I say yes. It's definite yes. It's always guaranteed.
The thing is, it always feels like it's tough to prove because they never put the cameras on the person.
Well, but there's always like when it happens, there's always like a delay in the game.
Yeah.
Speaking of interruptions, do you guys remember when San Francisco played Baltimore and the power went
Lights
out?
out.
Yep.
Remember
That's
that
actually
one?
a prop bet.
Is that a prop bet?
Will there be a power outage? And it's only one option, plus 4,000 for yes.
That's
So-
a.
I mean,
Damn.
would you do it for like a cheap $10, $20 bet? Would you do it
So $10 to win 400.
for $10? I think I'd do that. I mean, it's not gonna. It's very rare that's gonna. Because you have any idea how many contingency plans there are nowadays?
Right. Not, and especially now that it's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had 53 Super Bowls, and it's happened once.
I think when so this is before I started working for my current company, but I remember seeing in the office like whole page binders discussing what the plans are in the event of an event like that happening at Ford Field. Obviously, this is in 2006, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't even at Wayne State at the time.
I didn't
I didn't even think my current career was even a choice.
Before we take our break, there is a very interesting crossover bet. So obviously these would be like parlays.
Okay.
Which will be higher, not parlays. So this would be one versus the other. One is Patrick Mahomes passing touchdowns or Joker Oscar awards.
Oh.
Which will be higher?
How many Oscar nominations was the movie Joker?
I think it was 6.
6? Are they? Who? I guess what other? I haven't seen Joker yet, but I've heard so many wonderful things about it.
Joker nominations is 11.
Oh, 11.
11?
11.
You also have 1917 Oscar awards versus total field goals attempted.
Has anyone heard anything about 1917?
I mean, just basically the stuff they say in the commercials and the usual, which, I don't think it'll. I think kind of like with both of these, I don't know what. It just seems like for so many nominations that they may get like 2.
We got 2 more before we take the break. Total TD passes in the game versus total goals in Tottenham versus Man City.
Touchdowns versus goals.
Touchdown passes versus goals.
I will pick touchdowns over the goals.
Touchdowns is minus 150.
Wow.
So 15 to win 10. And which will be higher, 49ers point total versus Donald Trump total tweets on February 3rd. What date is February 3rd?
February 3rd would be the Monday after.
All right. I was like, it says a specific date, so I'm like, that was a weird
total
date.
points scored versus Donald Trump tweets on the next
49ers
day.
points scored.
49ers points scored versus Donald Trump's tweets the next day.
Yeah. Niners point total is minus 190.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, Chiefs have the weaker defense.
Well, there's a certain vote going on Monday.
That marinates. I will take a quick break and we'll be right back. Better on Draft Podcast.
Mama, please don't make me go. Yeah, I don't wanna go so far from home. Yale's got me riding that wave. I got my money where my mind is, and I like it that way. Ha!
And we're back. Dry January, the final segment of Dry January. I am happy that we did this. I don't think we probably would have, just because Eric, a former beer guy, would have definitely come in. Do we have any more reputation just lying around? Not unopened.
There's a little bit of the Colombian left.
Let's just pour it in there.
Go ahead and just kill that.
I tell you what, I am forever a new advocate. I will see if I can join their sales team, get some commissions maybe.
Is there any Rocky Road left?
I think no.
Oh man.
I
Nothing
think that one's gone. Here's some Colombian.
Just put another dime in the jukebox. I think that was a really good pun, and I'm going to credit myself for that.
There's some of the Citra Hop, the tart cherry still here. I'm grabbing some of this Colombian.
So as Dry January ends, we're going to be moving into Flagship February. Because alliteration is great. So we are going to be promoting a lot of flagship beers. We're going to be bringing in a lot of flagship beers to drink and try, as we do have guests on. So it's going to be a fun thing. Of course, Michigan has some of the best flagship beers out there, whether it is Bell's Two Hearted.
Yes.
I think would be a good one. Rochester Mills, Rochester Red.
Oh, yes.
Dragon Mead's Final Absolution.
Yes.
And I guess, because it is, M43 from Old Nation. That is a Michigan flagship for sure.
Yeah.
So we are going to be drinking some great flagship beers as we are going to continue our Friday night interviews. Again, you can find us facebook.com/betterondraft. Join us in the chat. We have had a lot of people saying hello. Guest M4 dropped in. Walter Smith says, Dilly Dilly is done. I don't care. I want it back. I know that it upset our friends over at B Nectar, because obviously there was a lot of shade to the mead community there. But I think in the same sense, I hope it helped them maybe.
Shade was a fucking eclipse.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Jesus.
I just thought it was funny. Like I can accept it, and they can give me shit all they want.
Right.
And
No
to
corn
go
syrup.
through, because we haven't really done too much, I want to focus a little bit. Our sponsor, North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan. Go check them out. They have many good beers, and of course, you're listening to this, it's probably over, so you can go over there. Flagship for them would probably be their Nice Bloobs.
Yep.
Which is one of their beers for sure. I would say maybe Ultraviolet if it's on draft. That could be a flagship. That is my favorite beer of theirs. Not because I helped make it, and by helped make it, I did not just drink while Cody made it.
Of course.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, that's true. At least I'm honest.
You're honest.
And of course, we got Michigan Beer Box. A great sponsor of ours. We are definitely a big proponent of them. You can get 10% off your box if you just use the code DRAFT.
It's a very nice hoodie you have there.
I was so happy. I unboxed it, found it. This is so soft. I was wearing it. So because I've been flying into places, I'll just wear a hoodie because I don't want to wear a giant ass coat.
Yeah.
So I just have a coat in my luggage, and I just didn't even bother with the coat anymore because I was walking. We were staying in Boston at the Heinz Convention Center. Place is fucking huge.
Heinz.
And this is a Michigan reference. You guys will understand. But the Heinz Convention Center, the mall that's attached to it, makes the south side of Somerset Mall look like the north side of Somerset Mall.
Oh.
That's how expensive these stores are. And it was definitely, there was a lot of people in the mall area and not many people in the actual store. There was a Peloton store.
Oh, jeez.
This honest-to-God store had a treadmill and a bike, and that was it.
That's it.
That was it.
That's all you need.
I mean, there was like TVs and stuff too, like accoutrement. But they had
Did they have coffee?
no.
Did they have cookies or anything like that, like they
No.
do at the bank?
No, it's a Peloton.
I don't care. If you're only gonna have is a freaking
This isn't
workout bench and a
Planet
frickin-
Fitness where they're gonna give you Tootsie Rolls and pizza.
No, they give you I'm about to say pizza. Pizza.
Don't get me wrong, I'm part of Crunch now, so I'm
Yeah, they're starting to pop up a little bit more.
they were
around here.
all over fucking Canada.
Were they?
I went to Canada. So we had that snowstorm last week. and we decided
How was that drive?
it was horrible.
Yeah, we
And
heard about what happened.
We were about 30 minutes from Mississauga, so just outside of Toronto.
Yep.
And my girlfriend gets a notification, and she opens up her phone, and the show got canceled
Oh, awesome.
30 minutes before we got to Mississauga. So I'm like, well, we ain't turning around. So we went to the hotel. I gave her first Swiss Chalet experience, which,
Salty.
if you guys are unfamiliar with Swiss Chalet, I refer to it as a ram's horn of Canada with alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was a little upset that there was no puppers at any of the LCBOs.
Puppers.
But on the way back, we did stop. We stopped at a distillery. I can't think of the name of it, but it was on the way back. We were going to stop somewhere in London, too, but another snowstorm hit us as we were driving back.
That was someone
So-
telling you that you are not allowed to get to where you need to get to.
Yeah. So
That's
it
basically
sucked,
what
but this was a John Mulaney show. It was a redo of a show he already canceled back in September.
Oh, God.
So he's doing it again at the end of February, and I think it's the same weekend as Beer Fest.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like, I ain't going to see John Mulaney, so we'll get a refund.
Yeah.
But yeah, driving through the snow, like for me, is not too bad. I just don't trust other people. Like I have no issues driving through the snow. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like I just
I'm the
don't.
same.
I fucking hate it.
Exactly the same. I'm good with driving in the snow, and it's just but my big worry is everybody that's around me.
See, I have my girlfriend has an SUV, but the thing is that I don't drive it like I have an SUV. I drive it like I normally would, because I went from my Monte Carlo and my Cruise to having snow tires on my Cruise, which is great, to then going to her SUV, which doesn't have snow tires, and I'm like, this is all so weird. But we made it safe, no accidents, no spinouts or anything like that. We just didn't drive like idiots. We did what a 4.5 hour drive. We took 6.5 just to get there. Took a break, made sure to keep yourselves mindful.
Yeah.
Right.
But she loved it because I was the designated driver for the weekend.
So she got hammered.
No, she didn't get hammered. She did drink at the distillery though, which was a lot of fun. That little place. So going back to the news, as story time with Ken is now complete.
Well, real quick before we get back to the news, just to go through one of our other sponsors, because in the beginning of this month, I did run a poll for our usual Tuesday Taste of Tavour, which then after running the post, just kind of realizing, hey, it's dry January. Why am I telling people that we're about to drink a beer on the show during dry January? So the two that were, just to kind of remind for those that either didn't see it or those that did and can't remember the beers, but it was Fluffaluffagus, which was an imperial stout brewed with roasted marshmallows from White Elm Brewing, that was going up against Starry Night from Weldworks, which is a milk stout brewed with milk sugar, hazelnut, toasted coconut, and milk chocolate. And in that vote, the Fluffaluffagus was definitely the winner out of that. So that is.
So you would have to say it repeatedly.
Yeah, no. So that was the winner. So that one, provided there's no snafus that are going on at my house, that one is going to be brought on Friday, next Friday. And I actually got a new box from Tavour this morning. With a whole new set of beers, which with some of the votes that it's like I'm behind completely, and there's probably like a good 30 cans and bottles that are just sitting in the basement right now. So we're definitely gonna have a quite a few more of that. But for those that are out there, obviously Tavour is an app you can download through iTunes or Android, which will allow you to purchase some good out-of-state beers that have been rated very highly. If you consider that whole Untappd thing, that basically every beer that they have on there is rated on Untappd with at least 4.0 or higher. But one small shipping charge of $14.99 will get whatever beers that you want shipped out to your house, and you can enjoy them. And we've got a promo code that's still out there, Robear, ROBEAR, which will get you a $10 credit after the first $25 that you spend on beer. So check them out because they've got some good stuff that has been popping up there between Gozas and like there's a crazy Goza deal that is going on for Fontaine or whatever the heck the name of the company is. I keep forgetting what the name of the brewery is, but it's like it's not Cantillon, but it's definitely like one of those ones that are up there. All right.
You know what's interesting is I'm looking up just because I wanted to see what the rating was for my beer, which is the Ultraviolet Alt beer over at North Center, and apparently it got all the way to Grand Rapids at Hopcat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ah.
Got some decent reviews. I'm afraid to go look for.
Got some distro going on there.
Yeah, on the sweeter side with some caramel, malty as per the style, while being a light to medium body. You sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Good amber. I don't know about that. Left cent. Oh, he was just showing out on the picture. Oh, there's a somebody posted it. It's definitely not me, but there's my my business card.
Nice.
Interesting. Anyways, Rob, news.
All right.
Go.
News. Go. All right. What else do we have in here? Oh, there was one that I had from a while ago, and I kind of wanted your guys' opinion on this. So about a month or so ago, Bell's had released their vanilla black note stout, which kind of really caught a craze with a lot of the craft beer drinkers that are out here and trying to get a hold of it. And it was seemingly very difficult for people to get a hold of it because some places were only getting a case, maybe 2 cases. And it was essentially 1 bottle per person. Well, one particular store didn't get any vanilla black note at the time and took their grievances to Facebook on their Facebook page.
Uh-oh.
And the post basically, actually, I have it as to what they wrote, and I'm just going to say it as it was written because it was a little bit of I'm not going to be the grammar Nazi on this. This is just how it's written. So they posted it up. They put a picture of the bottle of the vanilla black note on the page with a red X crossed through the bottle and said, "Thanks to Bell's Brewery, you should just keep this at the brewery. We're not getting any of this #craft beer. Another flop of allocated items. Keep this shit in your brewery if you can meet the demand. Shaking my head, #Bells. Thought you were better than that." Now,
That's a run-on sentence.
No,
galore.
there's an ellipses in there.
there's one in there. It's in there.
No, there is.
There is.
I mean, he didn't.
Well,
he didn't say ellipses.
I mean,
I'm looking at it. This is a run-on sentence.
technically, I mean, ellipsis is 3 dots, not 2. We're not gonna go there.
Thank you.
But I wasn't taking sides. What the fuck? But I mean, being a store and calling out a brewery like that. I mean, obviously it's your store. You can do whatever you want with your store.
Yeah.
But does it really seem like a good business practice to do that when you can just? I mean, obviously they're buying the beer from their distributor. I don't know if Bell's can go to that distributor and say, you know what, fuck that store. Don't sell any of my beer to that store. And just all of a sudden, they don't have any Bells. Like I said, I don't know how that side works. But it just seems like you're just obviously
you're asking for trouble.
You're asking for trouble because obviously you didn't get the beer. You're not happy you didn't get the beer. But why put a brewery on blast like that?
Well, you said that some places were getting as much as 1 to 2 cases end sentence, correct?
Yeah.
I kind of have to side with him. There's no point in distroing that if you're not going to be able to at least allocate a little more than that.
Right.
Because you're talking 1 to 2. It's probably based on how much you do in Bell sales in the first place. And from there, you know, I just there comes a point in time. Like, imagine, if you will, let's name a beer that obviously was a huge beer, you know, locally, Malo.
Oh yeah.
You did distro to Malo, and not, you know, 50% of the beer bars, beer stores didn't get it. And then the other ones, the big name ones like Zatuna Liquor over in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester Road.
Well done.
Jack gets it, and he gets a case of 12, and that's it. Done. 8 Degrees gets it, they get half case, 6. Like, how
You've got 4 counties coming after your stores.
you've got Ashley gets a case himself, so he gets a case, and now everyone's calling you looking for it, which of course is going to piss off the store, because I'm sure they're probably getting calls looking for vanilla black note. I was about to say vanilla black stout. Look at we see these posts on store pages. Ashley, her holiday market beer will post it. Zatuna will post it. 8 degrees. This is when we're getting it, or we haven't gotten it yet. Please stop fucking calling us. They're probably not saying
They're
that
not saying-
part,
right.
but
It's hidden in the
it's
message.
gone from truck chasing to just being lazy and calling, and they don't want to deal with you because they don't want to deal with you. You're going in there to buy one beer and leaving.
That's not what they want, because they want you to come in and buy.
Again.
They want you to not
They
just
want
buy
you-
that one beer.
Yeah, they want you to buy.
Well, they got
whatever
that beer
else.
because everyone else is buying their beer, not you. So I mean, I'm gonna have to side with Keg and Wine Party Store over here. I don't know how you guys feel, Wendy.
Well, I wish that they had presented it a little bit better. Just because, that's me. If you're going to put somebody on blast like that, people are going to talk about it. Make it at least look nice.
Oh yeah, this looks like a child did it.
I kind
and
of
wrote
agree. I kind of agree with them. However, I also think that if they're only going to get a case or something like that, that they could do something different than just selling it to their friends that come in or things like that. Do some type of raffle and something else as a way to bring people in to spend more money.
I mean, Merchants has done that too, especially like years ago when KBS would come out and that was still hot. The breakfast out of the 15th state. I can't call it by his real name. That was how it was done. Was that they would
call
do
it KBs.
Yeah,
You had to put your name in.
Yeah, you had to put your name in, and then they would do the raffle at 5:00, and then whoever won the raffle got to buy the bottles.
Right.
Here's the problem with that is I think there's a lot that there has to be. I'm just going to assume it just because it's Michigan laws against that. Because you cannot refuse sale of alcohol for any reason other than age, inebriation, that kind of stuff. That's why you can go to Costco and buy alcohol without a Costco membership or BJ's or Sam's Club. Like you can go into these places and buy alcohol without needing a membership. You cannot put some type of barrier to purchase. And there are laws, regulations, obviously. Like some people get BCBS, days before they're supposed to release it, and they don't release that beer. It's almost like the old days of going to Harmony House on a Tuesday to get your CDs.
Harmony House of Music Land.
Suncoast.
Suncoast. Suncoast was too damn expensive.
Yeah.
So
Sam Goody?
when I think if you cannot allocate enough, even at least for the state, no offense to Ohio or the other states that they're in, but if you can't just allocate it to at least the state or keep it within state or something like that, then you just release it at the store. They do black note releases at the store all the time.
That's how.
And
we
that's
got
what
ours.
that's what they did with this. But I don't know how they
Unless
planned.
they didn't sell enough, and
Right,
that's what they're trying to put it in the market to get sold.
Right, and that's it's the thing is that I don't know how they worked that out. Where they just decide right at the beginning that okay, these are the cases that are going to be distributed. This is what's going to be sold at the store, or did it just okay? We're going to put it all in the store, and whatever's not sold by this date, this is what's now going to get sent to the distributor to put out to the stores, and for what they put out, yeah, they probably should have looked at it as like, oh shit, we only got like 8 cases left. Let's just keep it here.
Yeah, I mean, and you're only these people are only selling one bottle, and if I can't get more than 24 people to buy, if I have way more than 24 people to buy one bottle, and they want more than one bottle, like I'm making my customers probably even more angry by just getting it in the first place.
Right.
I'm having an issue with having to purposely allocate this properly. I love when how 8 Degrees does it. You have a time that you can start lining up. You get a ticket, then we release it at this time. You don't buy it. There's no raffle. There's no, and you have to be there to pick it up.
There. They call you by name in order.
Yep.
You go up, you buy it, you pay for it, you stay and drink, or you just
because when you start doing raffles or mandatory minimum purchases, you know, and this is where the craft fanboys are going to come in and just call you out and call the MLCC because they're pissed at you because they can't get it.
Right.
And you're just going to do yourself more harm because, again, there's a reason why Worst Beer Blog exists is
Stuff.
I didn't realize it. I was trolling through it one day, and there was a lot of Michigan breweries on that
There's a few.
that page. That is for sure.
It does happen.
But yeah, I would just say if you can't distro it at least to some semblance of, you know, a chance for me to get it, then don't bother. Release it, and if I want to get it, I'll drive to Kalamazoo to get it.
All right. Yeah, fair. I think I would agree with that.
You're awfully quiet, Nick.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm just not enough here.
Do you need some caffeine?
No, I
As if
don't.
you did not have
I really
enough
don't.
caffeine.
No,
as
I think
it
I had
is.
plenty of caffeine. To be honest with
You're on the other end of the caffeine spectrum. You had so much you're ready to pass out.
you. Yeah,
You're gonna be up all night.
that's okay.
Oh goodness.
Let's
All right,
get
there
one
was-
more and we'll call it a night.
All right. So
Make it good, Rob.
damn, no damn pressure here. So actually, is it the one? No, wait, no, you're highlighting the one that just got through. So we didn't really. I mean, obviously, with us now going back to alcohol next week, we didn't really get a chance to, I guess, talk about, I guess, more in depth about the trends that we're hoping for 2020. So there was an article that came out from VinePair where they had talked to 14 brewers and asked what they thought would be the trends of 2020 in the beer world. Some of them in the article, they included seltzers, light and low ABV beers, smoked beers, which I'm really not vibing with that at all. I'd rather take the seltzer than the smoked beer. I ain't gonna lie. And one that really surprised me because I don't feel like it's taken off at all is milkshake IPAs, which, you know, we've had those for almost a couple of years now.
Right.
And it just there's a couple one-offs that are there, but it doesn't seem like it's something that has really taken off. And maybe that is just the blame. You know, you put the New England IPAs as part of the blame of that, but it just really hasn't been there. But there were some hopeful returns, as well as some brewers want to see the return of the standard IPA, lagers, Belgian doubles, and German Doppelbocks.
I would love doubles and doppelbocks.
Yeah, that would be just to kind of bring those styles back. I think that would be kind of awesome.
I think Paul Friedheim has it best in light and low ABV beers. I think there is a huge. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of toy playing with high ABV brands at lower ABV options. So not necessarily like a barrel aged, imperial stout at 2%. No,
Right.
it's gonna be like a stout at 3 to 4%.
Yeah.
Some IPAs, like those session IPAs, at a lower percent, and I'm talking like not just like 4%, 4.5%. Like I'm talking 3.2. I think there's a huge trend of lower ABV because obviously with lower ABV comes lower calories already right there,
Right.
just with the alcohol sugars. So I think we're going to start seeing people start playing with, again, like a stout, a porter, an amber. God, I would love a low ABV amber. Like just something I could, it's called an English mild. I mean, not really, guys. I understand the difference of the beers and the intricacies that go in, but let's be honest. If I want a low ABV malty beer, I'm going to go with an English mild and fucking go to town.
Yeah, buddy.
I wonder what the Ghetto Blaster rings in at, because that's got to be low ABV.
Probably like
Yeah.
4.
But I mean, with the stuff that we had today from Reputation, I mean, there are. I feel like this is going to become more of a trend as well. Is that people are just going to step away from just kind of all ABV, and go with the cold brew coffees. And I mean, with something like with their kombucha, it just really just kind of made me feel like, man, kombucha could really take off this year too.
I think kombucha is a little too niche. I think it is too sweet. too sweet, too
Price point's a little off too. It's a
well,
little.
I don't think price point's going to scare a lot of people off because I think we as a culture, we as a younger culture too, are spending our money wiser. Like we are not getting tanked off of pop-off. We are drinking nicer whiskeys, nicer vodkas.
5 o'clock.
Like we are putting money into craft cocktails and craft beers and stuff because we're not going and buying boombos of Coors Light. We're going to get 2 drinks, have a good night, feel a little loose, and go home. Like we're not going to, buy buckets of beer anymore. Like these are things that as a culture and a society, we are not doing as much. Because options are there and we're choosing to spend our money where we want to, I think, drink more. I'm not, were you not a raging drinker, of course. I mean, I was. You could, me and Nick used to throw it down by the pitchers.
You fuck yeah.
When I first started drinking, I didn't even like beer. I had to switch to beer because I was going out with my friends so often that I had to make that decision. So we would get the buckets and stuff like that. But now, yeah, I'd rather have 1 or 2 drinks and drink something I really like than spend $10 or $15 on a bucket of 5.
And we kind of talked about it when we had Shannon in, and Jack talked about it too. Because I used to drink ABV to the dollar. Like I would pay attention to ABV to the dollar if I knew I was going to get drunk or, I knew someone's driving me home, so I'm gonna get the drunkest, the most drunk for the cheapest.
Right.
So I used to pay attention to that stuff. I used to pay attention to ABV by the dollar or quantity by the dollar. That's why I would always buy pitchers of beer as opposed to pints because I knew I was gonna go through a pitcher of beer. So might as well drink a pitcher by myself as opposed to
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
going through that kind of stuff. But for me, like. I think it's just a cultural change is happening to where people, look at 5 years ago. What were your NA options? Duels.
Labatt NA.
Sharps.
Sharps.
Sharps. I forgot about Sharps.
So we named 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And we have 3 different ones right on our
on the
table
table.
right here.
Right.
So I think it's the want. I think there's a lot more women in the drinking now to where when things happen, like they become pregnant and they can't drink when they're pregnant, but they still want to go out, have fun, drink a beer or have beer flavor or beer taste. I think there are a lot of people who are calming down, whether it's entering AA or just going completely cold turkey, but they still want to go out and not, because a lot of people are like, hey, I can go drink a beer with you and not drink.
Right.
And I think that is a huge appeal to people.
Especially like that hop tea. Because hell, that thing tastes. It from finish or from beginning to finish, it feels like you are drinking a beer.
Jeez.
Yeah, it tastes like a light lager,
Yeah.
like a watered down lager. But I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, you guys, you know me, I'll get on my soapbox every day.
Yeah.
That you do.
So, I mean, I have opinions and I have a microphone and
And you have a podcast.
I have a podcast.
Right.
A struggling podcast.
Struggling.
Bingo square.
That's gonna do it for us. Guys, it's been fun. Better on Draft Dry January episode number 3.
This was different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, next year we'll do some planning. We'll get some more guests in studio. Not have Jack on 6 times in a week. I love Jack, so I can't really say that too bad.
He does make sure that we can keep doing this.
Yep, we appreciate him, all of our sponsors. That's going to do it for us. We will be back next week, Friday, 7 p.m.
With beer.
With beer, yes. And no matter what you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft. Have a good night.
Peace.